Imagine you are looking to evaluate customer satisfaction at a rental car company. Analysts can enhance their work by taking a look at open-ended responses from their customer surveys with IBM SPSS TextAnalytics for surveys. During this demonstration, we'll see how you can use IBM SPSS TextAnalytics for surveys to import open-ended survey responses, extract key concepts, create categories, and finally export and save both the customized linguistic resources for further text analysis projects as well as the final categories exported to IBM SPSS statistics for use in further analyses. When you first open IBM SPSS TextAnalytics for surveys, you will encounter the new project wizard. First, you'll be asked to select a data source, and in this example, we'll use an SPSS statistics file that contains our open-ended item. The next, we select our variables, our unique ID, our customer service open-ended response in this example, and we'll use gender as our reference. We can translate non-English text into English, but we don't need to for this example. And lastly, we utilize the resources we'd like to apply that will help to extract the keywords and phrases. We can either apply a resource template or a text analysis package. The resource template that we'll select for this example will be customer satisfaction that comes preloaded with the solution. During the extraction process, IBM SPSS TextAnalytics for surveys analyzes all of the responses and extracts key concepts from the data, filtering out noise words like articles and pronouns, as well as words which have no contextual meaning. IBM SPSS TextAnalytics for surveys uses natural language processing, or NLP, which is a linguistics-based engine, not a statistical algorithm, to uncover themes in the responses. As such, it recognizes patterns of speech. It doesn't simply count words or conduct a form of cluster analysis. Text analytics for surveys has the speed and cost effectiveness of statistics-based algorithms, but offers a much greater degree of accuracy while requiring far less human intervention. What gets extracted are concepts, not just independent or unrelated words. They're words and ideas which compose concepts mindful of context. Once the survey item has been extracted into the workspace, we can see the Text Analytics for Surveys interface. Here is where you can see the imported open-ended responses, the text analysis view, which you're looking at now, that consists of 3 parts. On the right side of the screen, you will see the Data View pane, which displays your raw open-ended text responses. On the bottom left side, you have the Extractor pane, where you're able to view and sort the key concepts that were automatically extracted from the responses. And just above the Extractor pane, on the top left, you see the Categories pane. This is where you will see how to automatically create and refine your categories. The categories are based on the extracted words and terms. When the extraction is done, you'll notice the different colored words in the response pane. These represent concepts, words and/or phrases, which have been typed. In other words, once the extraction is completed, Text Analytics for Surveys then determines what type of concept was extracted. So for example, here's our customer service, and we also have, scroll down a little bit, you can see technical support, that's also in blue, and we also have in blue staff. These 3 in blue have been typed to be customer support. The color codes indicate the type. So negative concepts are displayed in red, positive concepts are displayed in green, and other concepts are color coded accordingly. Typing is done with reference to the libraries and dictionaries which are included with Text Analytics for Surveys. These linguistic resources can be managed and manipulated to create your own domain-specific libraries and dictionaries, which you can share and reuse. So you can create your own types and concepts and use them across surveys and/or coders. Once the key concepts are extracted, you can view and sort them. You can view and sort them alphabetically. You can view and sort them by frequency. And you can toggle back and forth. We also can take a look at concepts. that have been extracted. These are the words and phrases with similar meaning grouped together under a lead term. A concept can be a single or a multiple word depending on your text and the set of linguistic resources you used. Again, you can sort them alphabetically or by frequency. The type is a collection of concepts. Look, for example, at budget. Budget is related to responses that contain words such as pricing and fees, money matters, and they're color-coded similarly. Concept and type patterns represent qualifiers and adjectives. Patterns are most useful when you're attempting to discover opinions about a particular subject. So in this example, if you're interested in looking at all of the responses that contain positive sentiments about customer service, we can click on the customer service plus positive concept pattern, and we could filter out those 21 responses and see the power of NLP at work. So what we've seen so far is how to use the linguistic resources, the libraries and dictionaries included with IBM SPSS TextAnalytics for surveys to extract keywords and concepts contained in the text data. Now, after extracting these key concepts, we will continue to categorize the responses, starting with some auto-categorization capabilities of text analytics for surveys. The extracted concepts and types are used as the building blocks for the categories. Concepts cannot be categorized unless they're first extracted. Records are then automatically assigned to specific categories if they contain extracted concepts which match an element of that category's definition. Once the categories have been created, you can manually manipulate and even refine them to be more appropriate for your project. For example, if we look at the 159 uncategorized responses, we can see that some may fit into existing categories. Here we're talking about customer service, friendly, and helpful. We can add that to an existing category, which is a positive comment about service, and that will be included. If we look at some of the categorized responses that we already have, we may decide that we'd like to combine some of these categories if they're related. We have pick up positive and we have pick up from the airport. We may decide that the pick up positive really should be nested underneath pick up from airport. So we can drag and drop that category into the other. And now they're combined. So you have the capability to manage these categories, whether editing, renaming, or combining them, or even creating new customized categories. Analysts can also manipulate the terms and concepts which compose the definitions of the categories, as well as edit or create logical rules. These capabilities are covered in a great deal more detail in our training courses. In addition to these customizations, we can edit the linguistic resources, those libraries and dictionaries that have come shipped with IBM SPSS TextAnalytics for surveys. The extractions are based on these dictionaries and libraries, and categories are based on those extractions. To access these resources, we can go into the resource editor, which is in the upper right. Now this is where you can customize and manage the linguistic resources to best suit your specific project. In this window, you can create and define customized terms and types, specify words to be excluded from the extraction, and assign synonyms to target terms. Again, these capabilities are each covered in a great deal of detail in our training offerings. But now imagine having invested the effort to manipulate these linguistic resources. What if you need to leverage this effort again, either in a subsequent survey that's coming next year, or in a very similar format with a different population? Text analysis packages, or TAPs, give you the capability to encapsulate all of the work that you've already done and apply it to another survey. We can make a new package and then apply that tap across other surveys, and that tremendously reduces coding inconsistencies and also reduces the amount of time required for analysis. Now let's see how IBM SPSS Text Analytics for Surveys helps you refine and verify your categories visually. Category visualization allows users to create better categories by revealing categories that share responses. We can see the proportionate breakdown of responses in this category, which are also shared by other categories. To better understand the responses, we may decide to color code by our reference and look at the responses based on gender. Another way to look at co-occurrence is through a category web diagram. The stronger co-occurrences are indicated by darker, bolder lines. This type of visualization can also uncover possibly redundant categories. If there is an overwhelming co-occurrence between two categories, perhaps they're reflecting the same sentiment or concept. Once you're comfortable with the category schemes, the next step in the analytic process is to export the results for further analysis. We can now leverage the themes and patterns identified among the text responses, bring them back into the original data set, and use them as either predictor or target variables. In this example, we'll export the results as an IBM SPSS statistics file. Once in Statistics, you can retrieve the exported file. It contains all of the categories, which are coded as binary variables. IBM SPSS Statistics users will also notice that the data dictionary was also exported. It contains the variable and value labels, so these do not have to be redefined. You'll also notice that the unique ID was provided, and this allows you to identify each individual respondent and ultimately merge them back to your original dataset. So in today's demonstration, we've seen how IBM SPSS Text Analytics for Surveys gives you the capability to easily import open-ended responses from a variety of sources, quickly extract major concepts and themes from the text data, manually refine and automatically create categories, types, and terms. We also saw that project-specific libraries and dictionaries can be created and saved as text analysis packages, and how they can be later applied in subsequent survey projects. Quickly, we also saw how the visualization engines can help us graphically review the results, and then we ultimately exported our results to IBM SPSS Statistics for further analysis.